There's no denying that the Fast and Furious franchise is burning on all cylinders right now. Between 7 films, the epic car saga has pulled in over $4 billion and has no intention of hitting the brakes anytime soon, with an 8th film on the horizon and 2 more due after that. The saga boasts one of the most diverse and recognizable casts working in Hollywood today, bringing together the likes of Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jason Statham, and The Rock. So while we anxiously wait for Fate of the Furious to pull into cinemas, we can't help but wonder which actors will join Dominic Toretto and the team or rise against them in the next entry. The possibilities are truly endless. But here are CBR's 10 actors who should be in the Fast and Furious 9. Enjoyed our video? Put the pedal to the metal and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all things CBR. Tom Hardy. We think Tom Hardy would be an excellent choice to play the villain in the 9th entry of the franchise. After his fuel-injected take on Mad Max and his versatile acting abilities all around, having Hardy's gruff yet intimidating presence confronting Dominic Toretto would prove to be most entertaining. Hardy is no stranger to fisticuffs either, having already gone toe-to-toe with the Dark Knight as Bane and taking on the role of an MMA fighter in Warrior. Perhaps he can play a cousin to Luke Evans and Jason Statham's Shaw brothers, or even their competition, which would result in the Shaws teaming up completely with Vin and the team. Hardy certainly has the box office draw and the acting chops to please many diehard fans of the series, and he would be a welcome addition to the cast. Just give him more dialogue than Max got, please.
Everybody strap in!
Samuel L. Jackson, one of the most popular actors working today, with such film franchises as The Avengers and Star Wars under his belt, plus smash hits like Pulp Fiction and Kingsman. Samuel L. Jackson really is a jack of all trades, offering up comedic roles, dramatic, and plenty of action and adventure. So it's a no-brainer that we think that Nick Fury himself should find himself behind the wheel in the Fast and Furious franchise. Jackson's signature swagger and bravado would work perfectly in the film, and would allow him to bounce one-liners off the likes of Tyrese, Ludacris, and Dwayne Johnson. Who doesn't want to see that? Plus, Vin Diesel and Jackson already have a professional relationship, having co-starred together on 2 of the XXX films, including 2017's Return of Xander Cage. Funny enough, the first film in that series was also directed by Rob Cohen, who in turn directed the first Fast and Furious back in 2001. Funny how things can come full circle.
I'm always picking up after you boys.
Scarlett Johansson. Why have one Avenger when you can have 2? While we eagerly await for the Black Widow to get her own solo film, we think Scarlett Johansson would find excellent company with the Furious crew. With great acting skills and no stranger to action films, Johansson would be right at home in the ensemble action franchise. We think Johansson would be a good fit in either a law enforcement role or perhaps a new addition to the team, who have been growing rapidly since Toretto's return in the 4th entry. Perhaps she can be an associate to Kurt Russell's shady government agent Mr. Nobody, who made his debut in the 7th entry of the franchise. Either way, we expect Johansson to be part of some insane action scenes, and we know the actress can deliver those in spades.
How far did you carry me?
Emilia Clarke, the mother of dragons in the Fast and Furious? Sign us up! The English actress has been making waves over the years, largely due to the success of the HBO series Game of Thrones. In it, she plays Daenerys Targaryen, and she gets to ride around on dragons, delivering some truly epic moments. So why not have her reunite with her Game of Thrones co-star, Natalie Emmanuel, who shares her scenes with Clarke as Missandei. Clarke's portrayal on Game of Thrones launched the actress into stardom and has become a fan favorite among the show's devout fans. Bringing her into the fold in the Furious films would not only be extremely fun to see, but her cool and collected presence would fit in perfectly with the film's tone. Instead of dragons, Clarke would be riding around high-octane cars in what would naturally be some ludicrous action set pieces. We'd buy her in a role that sees her related to Charlize Theron's character, Cypher, who appears as the villain in the 8th film, The Fate of the Furious, or perhaps as a protege to Dom himself as we inch towards the 10th entry in the franchise. Conor McGregor. The Furious franchise has been known to add some crazy fight scenes into its films, and this is most evident in the last 2 entries, 6 and 7, which saw Gina Carano and Tony Jaa respectively dish out the pain. Conor McGregor would carry on that tradition by having a popular trained fighter come to the big screen to take on our heroes. Rumored to have a small part in Season 7 of Game of Thrones, which the Irish fighter denies, yet the UFC president claims McGregor's involvement, McGregor is very much a fighter first and should only be taken to the big screen if he's given the time and the resources to continue his training. But squaring off on the big screen against the likes of Vin Diesel and The Rock would make any action junkie's heart explode with joy. Besides, adding some of that Irish wit and attitude might give us a verbal clash as Dwayne Johnson and McGregor get the chance to mouth off at each other during a fight scene. One can only hope.
Find out who your co-pilot will be.
Idris Elba. One of the most acclaimed actors working today is none other than Indra Selbo. No matter what the man is working on, whether it be the excellent Netflix drama Beasts of No Nation, Thor, or the upcoming Dark Tower film, Elba has proven to be quite the versatile actor, which is why we think he'd be a great fit in the ever-growing Fast crew. We think with Elba's distinct charm and bravado that he'd be tailor-perfect in a role that sees him hunting Dominic and his team, but instead of going in guns blazing like Dwayne Johnson did in the 5th entry, Elba's character would use wit and cunning to trap the team in what would be a crazy chess match with lots of car mayhem. Can someone make this happen, please?
I need you to step out of the car, sir.
Javier Bardem. Acclaimed actor Javier Bardem is no stranger to the franchise picture. Whether he's taking on Bond, James Bond, or gunning for Jack Sparrow in the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie, Bardem has shown us that he can do the villain perfectly. Remember his performance in No Country for Old Men? We do too. Bardem would be perfect if the Furious films should ever implement a villain who can outthink our heroes, but then offer a terrifying display of power and violence. Bardem's calm yet collected villainous tendencies on film would prove to be an excellent addition to the fray. He may not have the manpower to go mano a mano with Dwayne Johnson in his Thunderwear, but we would totally buy his character playing cat and mouse with a team. Felicity Jones. Since she no longer has to worry about the events pertaining to a certain galaxy far, far away, we think the British actress Felicity Jones could find a new home in the Fast and Furious films. Jones is quite the accomplished and versatile actress, capable of doing blockbuster action films and more intimate dramas. She won the BAFTA Britannia Award in 2016 for British Artist of the Year, so you know she has some serious acting chops. She won over many fans with her portrayal of Jyn Erso in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which saw her as a tough and withdrawn former criminal who aids the rebellion in the acquisition of the Death Star plans. We'd like to see Jones be a bit more cheerful and upbeat while still being part of the breathless action. The actress has no film commitments in a post-Rogue One schedule, so the actress would be more than available to consider talks with the studio for a role that we're sure fans would love to see. Between villain or hero, we think Jones would do a great job in either capacity. Jason Momoa. We know he's a busy guy being the king of Atlantis and all, but admit it, seeing Jason Momoa throw down against The Rock in the Fast and Furious would make a lot of people happy. Momoa is no stranger to action, having started in Game of Thrones as the ruthless barbarian Khal Drogo, as well as the upcoming films Justice League as Aquaman and The Crow, where he'll take on the role once played by the late Brandon Lee. Momoa's intimidating screen presence and large stature would make him an ideal villain, who would be equal parts charming and brutal. The Furious films have had great moments, but when you consider that there are soon to be 8 films, it's hard not to reflect that the series could have better villains, and Momoa would prove to be one hell of a choice.
Stupid rats, you're ruining date night!
Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie seems to be everywhere these days. She may be heavily involved with the DC film universe right now, playing Harley Quinn in both Suicide Squad and the upcoming Gotham City Sirens, but we would love it if Robbie found the time to appear in the 9th entry of the Furious saga. Whether she's a femme fatale or a new member of the Toretto family, we would be thrilled to see an Australian actress behind the wheel of a car in some seriously crazy action scenes. Suicide Squad was a big step for the actress, as it was her first proper action role, and we think she has a natural aptitude for these kinds of movies. Perhaps she'll tattoo the cast this time too. So there you have it, our picks for 10 actors who should be in Fast and Furious 9. What did you think of our choices? Which actor or actress would you like to see join the Furious cast, and in what capacity? Does the series need better villains, or does it need more family to care about? Whatever you think, let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to join the notification squad by subscribing to CBR. Thanks for watching!